Guys, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel. Appreciate you being here, and I hope everybody's doing well. So what are your struggles when it comes to health and fitness? I know we all have struggles in a lot of aspects of our lives, but health and fitness, keeping ourselves healthy, seems to be, if not the number one, it's 1A. You know, it's right up there with whatever else. But keeping ourselves healthy, a lot of people seem to struggle. So today I wanted to talk about 4 areas or 4 pain points that I find, based on my own experience and talking to other people, what I find 4 of the biggest things that we struggle with when it comes to keeping ourselves healthy. Number 1 is consistency. We as humans have a hard time being consistent. I certainly do. In my case, I bore very easily. I get bored. I've been in and out of gyms my whole life. I can't be in one gym or one place for more than a few months, and I see the same people day in and day out. I'm in the same atmosphere, and it just, after a while, I say, I have to change things up. When it comes to the workouts that I do, thankfully, for most of my life, I was a gym guy. I believed that you had to be lifting weights to stay healthy and get strong. In recent years, I transitioned into doing a lot more calisthenics. I certainly still do hit the gym, and I have my little setup in my garage, so I didn't get away completely from weights and things, but I like to consider myself now more of a hybrid. So that's what kind of keeps me consistent, is the fact that I change things up. Now there always is that diamond in the rough, the guy that needs that routine. He's comfortable doing that same thing over and over. But I think a guy like that is definitely, like I just said, a diamond in the rough, that needle in a haystack. I think, generally speaking, for most of us, that we do bore very easily after a while. When we start anything new, most of us come out of the gate, full speed ahead. But I think you'll agree that it doesn't take long before we, I guess, get bored, for lack of a better term, or we just kind of peter off. And that's where we struggle with the consistency. So, in my case, I'm a fan of changing things up a lot, and that's kind of how I stay consistent. Number 2 is that diet. That's a big one. I think everybody's going to agree on that one. The temptation is always there. The addiction is real. Right? It doesn't get any realer than the food addiction and the drink addiction that we have. And they beat it into our head every single day, right? At every twist and turn. Drink this, eat that. You want to have a good life. Don't deprive yourself. You only live once. Why should you not have it? They beat that into you, that you're somehow less than, or you're depriving yourself. You're not doing the right thing by just treating your stomach like a garbage pail and just throwing. If you want it, if you feel like having it, you should be able to have it, which is total horse shit. But again, that's what it is. And, in my case, listen, the sugar addiction with me is as real as it gets. It's realer than any of you guys, trust me. If I open up a sleeve of Oreo cookies, within 3 minutes, there's going to be nothing left but cellophane and some crumbs, and I'll even suck up the crumbs. So it's there. But at this point in my life, I've been through it, and I eat for a purpose. I keep in mind what my purpose is, and that's what drives me every day, to make sure. I was in the gas station the other day, and growing up, I always had this thing for these little pretzel nuggets, pretzel bites. So occasionally, I'll indulge and get myself a bag of these pretzel nuggets. And just on a whim, when I went in the other day, I was looking at them, and I'll be damned if I looked at the ingredients, and they're adding seed oils to pretzel nuggets. And that just killed it for me. These are things that I don't want to put in my body willingly. If it's there and I don't know about it, so be it. But the seed oils are in everything. But anyway, my point is, with me, to keep myself on my diet, I'm not on a diet. To eat the way that I eat, to optimize my health is what I'm trying to say. I had Lyme disease a couple of years ago, highly inflammatory. I've been doing a lot of research on it since, and it can rear its ugly head sometime in the future. I guess an analogy would be sort of like to herpes, where it'll show up and then it'll lay dormant for a while. And apparently that's the case with Lyme. So we'll see. But the point is, I try to eat to not cause inflammation in my body, to keep the inflammation down as much as I can. So I have a purpose, and that's what keeps me on track. Now, it doesn't mean I don't go out, have my pizza once in a while, but I don't look at it like I should be able to have pizza 6 days a week. Well, you certainly can. If you're an adult and you want to make that decision, you certainly can. But then don't cry about the repercussions, because there will be. And not good repercussions, in the end. So you have to have a purpose. And it does take mental fortitude, and you really have to think about it, because the temptation's not going to go away, guys. These food companies, the drink companies, the soda companies, the energy drinks, the booze, it's not going away. It's not going away. And they're there to profit. They're there to sell to you. Any businesses, they're looking to make a profit and have you buy their products. But you have to say no. You just have to say no. You have to have a purpose. And especially, if you have health issues, which most of us do, you have to look at it that way. How is this affecting me? How is this affecting my health issues? And even if you don't have health issues and you're on this standard American diet, which is a constant intake of the highly processed junk and everything we talked about, even if you don't have issues now, they're coming. You're going to pay the piper at some point. So, a lot of people too hit me with, well, you have to have balance. Okay, which is why I said every once in a while, if you want to indulge a little bit. But when I have a 280-pound woman telling me, I should be able to go out and eat what I want and drink what I want on Saturday, because there has to be balance. Well, if you're a 280-pound woman, or guy for that matter, you don't have balance. Those scales are tipped drastically to the other side against you. So if you want to have balance, you got to recalibrate that scale and start doing the right thing. So the struggle is real, guys. Pick your purpose. You have to fight it. You have to be strong. It's a mental game. But you can do it a little bit at a time. Number 3 is motivation. Probably one of the biggest scams ever perpetrated on mankind is motivation. Motivation isn't going to get you through, guys. Motivation isn't going to keep you going. In the very, very short term, it could give you a little spark and get you moving, but it's not going to be there for you. When things go wrong, motivation's going to be gone in a split second. Where'd my motivation go? I don't know. And it's not going to come back anytime soon. It's all about habits. It's all about consistent habits. And it's all about the self-discipline. Because whether you're motivated or not, if you've built those good habits, if you've built self-discipline, if you built that mental toughness, motivation isn't going to matter to you. People say, well, how do you stay motivated? You see somebody else doing something, you say, how is that guy so motivated? He's probably not. I'm just out here taking a walk. I'm not motivated. I wasn't motivated to come to walk this morning. But I like the way I feel when I do it. While I'm doing it, afterwards, the short-term benefits. I hope there's long-term benefits. Time will tell, but I believe there will be. So it's just about building a habit. And that's what's going to get you through, because if you have that, it doesn't matter what your motivation level is. And then if you feel a little motivated in the short term, plus you're disciplined, Go to hell with yourself. Have a good time, right? Go set that new PR in the gym and whatever. Try a new workout, whatever you want to do. But don't waste your life thinking I'll start when I get motivated, because it's not going to work. And don't try and get in other people's heads. Look at that guy, he's so motivated. How does he stay motivated? Hey, can you give me advice on how to stay motivated? No, nobody can. And if they tell you that, they're full of shit. They could give you tips on what they do to build habits and how they stay disciplined, how they structure things. But again, it's all everybody's different. Everybody's going to have their own way of doing things. You can certainly take ideas from other people and, form them into your own, but you have to build the discipline no matter how you do it. And it takes work. That's a fact. If you're not willing to put the work in, then sit around, keep asking people how you can get motivated, wait for the motivation, and don't get results. Number 4, slow results. Right? How come I'm not getting results yesterday? How come my belly's not gone yet? I've been doing this for 3 days. I'm doing 6-minute abs. I should have abs already. We want everything now. We want everything yesterday. We want everything. How do I drop, That's why these things, these supplements that people sell and, fat burners and guaranteed to burn X amount of fat in 2 weeks, people jump right on it. People jump right on it because they see it as a way to get a result without putting the work in, right? And that's why people are sticking Ozempic in their ass every week or every month, however often they do it, because they think that they're the special case. Well, I've tried everything and nothing works. Well, if you dedicated 6 months or a year of your life and did the things that we just talked about, built consistency, built good habits, worked on your nutrition, and you put the time in, then you're going to see the results. And when the results finally come, it's going to seem like it was quick in the end. But if you wake up every day, looking at your stomach in the mirror saying, how come it's not gone yet? It's never going to happen, right? It's the old adage. You don't watch water boil or something like that, right? You have to give things time, and you have to be willing to commit. And that's a big thing with people. They're not willing to commit. They're not willing to look at things in the long term, right? When you invest money, you don't put $50 in the bank and then come back the next day and say, give me my $5,000, right? It takes years for that money, for the compound interest to work its magic. And that's exactly what happens with your fitness habits. You get that compound interest. And after a while, it is like magic, if you give it time. If you give it time and do the right thing. All right, guys, I'm going to leave it at that. I'm going to go stretch out a little bit. Appreciate you guys listening to me rant. I hope you get something out of that. Everybody make sure you get your reps in today. Stay healthy, stay safe, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Thanks, guys.